Hey guys, so I'm back in Manila. Let's talk about KPPI, Axelum, and All Home. How did they fare in their IPOs? This is a good testament of how IPOs don't go up all the same. Check this video out. Hi everyone, this is Marvin Germo. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, smash that bell so you get updated every time I create new content about the stock market. Hey guys, so it's nice to be back in Manila. I'll be here just for today. I'm flying out again tomorrow for our events in Malaysia. But for those who are asking as well, I will be in Singapore just a few weeks from now for those who want to learn more on how you can trade the markets using technical and fundamental analysis, because I really believe that technicals and fundamentals is one of the best ways for you to be able to trade, to be able to win, and how you can win in the markets, not just now, not just when there's a stock that's hyped up, but you can find a strategy that will work and will fit for you. So if you're from Singapore, I hope that you learn the rudiments of how you can make your money work hard for you while you are there and while you are at the prime of your years as well. In this video, I want to show you the difference between the movement of KPPI, Axelum, and All Home. I want to show you from the charts also that they don't all move the same. And I also want to show you that our rudiments, our rule of thumb, always holds true, that the smaller IPOs are the ones that move the fastest. The bigger IPOs take some time to move up relatively because there's a lot of shares that are moving around, and it's harder to move stocks that are larger, bigger, faster, and larger, bigger, and stronger, because there's a lot of people transacting and buying and selling. But for this video, it will primarily focus from the day of the IPO, what happened a few days after, in the case of All Home, what happened just a few hours after, and then we're gonna give you the analysis on where it could probably go over the next few days. Please also remember that when you're doing technicals is always about past prices and predicated on the longer the time frame, the stronger it is. So since they are newly IPO'd companies, you can't really expect larger and stronger support levels to be built up. But enjoy the rest of the video. Hey guys, so here we are with the charts, no? So as what I told you earlier, and if you've been listening to the previous videos, the context every time I trade technicals is past prices, predicated by volume connected to those past price movements. The thing about IPOs is basically this: you don't have any price movements yet that are very, 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 very long. So why am I saying this? Technical analysis is very, very good. It's very, very, very useful if the price points that you have as a reference point are relatively longer, meaning if you start building support areas, you start building resistances, and you start using chart overlays and indicators, you will get better and more holistic readings because there's more reference points already on where people are willing to buy and sell a stock. That being said, I'm still gonna analyze this for you guys because I've gotten a lot of messages from a lot of people asking about why did All Home not push up. Everyone was hoping that All Home would push up, especially with what happened to Golden Haven. Please remember this: Golden Haven did not massively go up on the day itself of the IPO. It did not go to 300 on the day of the IPO. Please remember, Golden Haven went up massively January 2018. Golden Haven IPO that 2016. So the move from 20 plus all the way to 300 to 400 now was pretty much because of something that happened more than a year ago. So either you're a person who will wait up until you see a chart relatively have a stronger movement sideways and you see it break out, that's when you can start coming in. The same thing happened to Wilcon. Wilcon was not really going anywhere a few days after its IPO. It was relatively sideways, it was relatively flat. Then for those who attended our sessions, you know our style there for moving averages, you know our style there also as you look for stocks that start to break out, and that's what happened also to Wilcon. So why am I saying this? We could check over the next few days as it starts to continue, as the stories start to continue and start to progress. How will this somehow show you levels of buying and selling? So the thing about this, by the way, since this is a daily chart, if you notice, most of my analysis is from a daily basis, daily chart basis. You won't really get much just using this. So what one thing that you can do is, if you want to analyze it further and get a deeper understanding of how the price move, is you can, instead of just looking at it from a daily basis, you can somehow zoom in to a candlestick that shows you either from a minute to minute perspective or an hourly perspective. But since this is just the first day of the stock, no, going in, if even if I use an hourly chart, it will just show me somehow, just you can expect bar candles that will show you the movement from 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, then the last 2 hours of trading. So that's how it looks from an hourly perspective. So it doesn't really give you as much data as well. So I'll try to zoom closer. I'll try to use a 30-minute chart as well, so I could get a deeper and better sense of what's going on as well on this stock. So similar thing. You can't really establish a trend yet because it's just on its first day, and as you can see already here, here, and here, you already see more indecision candles for the stock. But what's interesting about that is this: you can already see that in the last 30 minutes of trading, 3 o'clock all the way to the closing, boom, there was a larger sense of buying. That's why the stock started to close up. If it wasn't just for the last upward movement, you wouldn't expect all home to go up. Please remember, all home would have closed lower, all home would have closed down, all home would have closed lower than its IPO price if not for the last 30 minutes of trading. That being said, also, I have volume latched below, no. As you can see, also, the volume that happened in the last 30 minutes was much smaller than the volume that happened still at the opening. So a lot of transactions happened more in the first 30 minutes of trading. As you all know, all home moved up a bit for the first 30 minutes, then it already started to somehow retrace as well. So that being said, one thing you could point out is this: somewhere around here, the 11.56 level. Please remember the IPO is 11.56 level, followed by the next 30 minutes, then up until the closing. That's where we can expect selling, or selling was shown on the first trading day as well. So that being said, you can watch and peg this also for tomorrow. Let's see what happens to all home. Friday, it's the last trading day of the week. If it stays above 11.56, we might see a very, very small, a very, very short support work its way there. But if that does not hold, or if the narrative does not hold true, there's an expectation, there's a possibility also that all home could slide down further, and 11.56, instead of it being a support, it would become a resistance as well. So two things to watch out for the 11.56 level for all home. One is, number one, if it stays above 11.56, it could turn as a support. If it doesn't, it turns as a resistance, and there's a possibility that all home could slide lower. Now, this wasn't what a lot of people expected. People thought that all home would zoom up because it's a Manny Villar stock. People thought that all home would zoom up because it was much. People were thinking that, hey, this is something that I see more than Axelum. I think it's also better than Wilcon, and they're expecting and having a logical ideology that it will do better since it's also Manny Villar. Please remember, that's not the way we value stocks. Each IPO will move differently, and this still follows our rule of thumb that the larger the IPO is, the larger the market cap, the more shares that's being raised as well, the higher the money that's being put in there. That's what I've noticed over the years that have pushed stocks higher. That's why if you look at KPPI, I'm gonna show you, I guess, the daily chart of, sorry about that, the daily chart of KPPI, since it's been out already since KPPI has been out already since August, but since I have the 30-minute chart loaded still, one thing that you could note is this: from an intraday perspective, for at least somehow today, no, if I could draw my support and resistance lines, one thing that I could point out intraday, there was a resistance at the 9.14 level. Then it broke out of that. Then you have another breakout from the 9.57 level, and then it started to close for where it is right now. That's how you look at it if you're just looking at it from a 30-minute perspective. And as you notice, the last hour, last 30 minutes is where you expect most volume to be in. For those who keep asking, where's a larger degree of volume in the market, it will always be in the afternoon. The morning has more volatility, but the afternoon has more how do I put this, has more reliability into it as well. Now, showing you the daily chart, let let's try to peg this first. No, I'll try to remove all of the things that I drew first so that you have a better perspective, and I'll try to also zoom out from the time it went into an IPO. So please remember this. Number one, uh, my touchpad is relatively moving fast now. There, I'll just do it like this. As you all know, I like using chart nexus better in terms of how I do daily charting. So what I do is, if I want to look at intraday charts, I need to log in via my broker. But if I want to do the daily charts, I just go with chart nexus as well. So a couple of things. Number one, as you notice, I posted also a video of an 18-year-old kid from Qatar who made money off of the KPPI trade. And based on what he said, he was buying and selling and trading based on the strength of volume. Please remember this, at around, I think, around 10 pesos, the PE ratio of KPPI is around 660x. So it's expensive. And please remember also that its net income for last year wasn't really as high. It's a company that barely has it's a company that barely has uh, income. It makes money from rental properties. Please remember, one of the reasons why it moved up, because people were speculating, because that the company that owns this owns also the Sogo chain of hotels, that they think that Sogo may be dangled into this. But please remember, Kepwealth is basically a pure property rental company. They have, I think, if I remember the prospectus properly, more than 30 plus companies, 30 plus units being leased out. And that being said, they don't even own the entire building, they just own units as well. So when you're talking about Double Dragon being small, talking about house or other property development companies, this is even smaller than the other companies that have been listed, that have been regarded as small. The market cap of this, I think it was around a billion at a certain point in time. But let's look at what the charts are telling us. Number one, two, three, four. You could you notice on the first 4 days, there was massive spike up already on the stock. That's what brought stocks higher. One of the reasons why it went to up all the way up to 25, 26, 27, and to an intraday of 27.35 was because people were just hyped up. People were thinking that how this could go even higher. This is something that's magical. But please remember, there will come a point in time where buyers who bought early will want to take profits, and because it's expensive at 60x, because the valuations don't warrant it being at 20 something, people will also sell. And because people sell, when people start selling, and you have a large red candle, when people start selling, you can expect more sellers to bring the prices down. And that's just how technical analysis is, basically. And as you notice it also, on that day, people started to sell. As people started to sell, you saw a large move of the stock down with volume. That being said, after that, the stock started to go down again, but it now started to show itself that it's now starting to consolidate as well. One evidence of it also is this. If you notice, I'll try to draw the the support and resistance. One way for you to peg the support is you could put it right there, and then you have another one somewhere here. If you would like to put a smaller resistance, it's there. So I peg a resistance at 13.1, then another one at 11.3, then you could place a support at 8.91 pesos per share. So that's a sideways movement. But during the sideways movement, guys, there is no more volume, meaning a lot of the people who entered early exited massively already at this move. A lot of people exited on the fourth trading day as well. So you can expect the large volume, because probably there were a lot of people also who bought higher, that are uh, for lack of a better term, ipet, and they're not selling as well. There are also people who bought at a certain point that are also holding the stock. So the lack of volume shows that there are people who also bought higher that are not selling their shares. They're probably not cutting loss. They're also hoping that the stock will possibly go up. That being said, from a tech standpoint, support is 8.91. If 8.91 does not hold, you can expect the stock to go lower. Please remember that the support was forming 1, 2, 3, 4 for the past 4 days. It was forming just this week. Please remember though that since this is just technical analysis, for just it hasn't even been 2 months yet, you can't really expect this range to be strong. So I need more evidence to see if the 8.91 support level will be something that's very, very strong. But that being said, if the bounce from 8.91 continues, target price is 11.30. Failure to break 11.30, you can expect Kepwealth to somehow go down. After, should it break out of 11.31, then it can challenge the 13.1 level. If 11.31 does not hold, it will just hover again all the way back to 8.91 pesos per share. Please remember, for that to have at least a decent shot of going back, volume must increase. But as of this point in time, we don't have any evidence yet. Anyways, let me show you Axelum. Axelum also, it IPO'd this week. So IPO'd Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If I'm just gonna use a somehow just a daily chart, this is how it will basically look like, and this was the large sell down on the IPO day itself. Since we just have a few days yet for the stock, so we might as well use a slower chart for all whom I gave you a 30-minute chart. Now I want to show you how it looks if you want to use a 15-minute chart for Axelum. Please remember again, the longer the candlesticks, the longer the duration, the more stronger, the more reliable it is, the shorter it is, the weaker it will be as well. So now, that being said, let me show you how it looks. That's how it basically looks like from the day it started to go into an IPO. So I'm using a 15-minute chart. Looking at the 15-minute chart, you're seeing that Axelum is basically range bound. Axelum is moving from a support of 4.35. As you notice it, from this point in time, this was October 7. October 7 all up until October 8, and until at a certain point, October 10, you saw the stock hit the 4.35 level. As it started to hit the 4.35 level, you saw a greater level of buying. Hence, from a shorter perspective, we have a support at 4.35 pesos per share. I repeat, from a 15-minute candle, from a 4-day stock that has been IPO'd, you have a support at 4.35. Then you have a resistance at 4.5. You're seeing a resistance from the 4.5 level. So that being said, the way you could analyze Axelum is basically this. If Axelum fails to break out of 4.5, possible narrative is it could go back to 4.35 using the 15-minute candle. If it breaks out from 4.5, possible narrative is the next resistance is 4.73. Then the next resistance is 4.9 pesos per share. So I repeat, for Axelum, for it to at least have a shot to go back to its IPO price at 5, specific resistances from the 15-minute candlestick are as follows: 4.5, breakout from 4.5, adjust to 4.73, breakout from 4.73, adjust to 4.91. If the stock fails to stay above the 4.5 level tomorrow, possible move will just be resistance is 4.51, support is at 4.34 pesos per share. So I guess that's basically it. So if you compare it, you will see that from a 15-minute perspective, 15-minute candlestick, Axelum is sideways. For KPPI, using the daily candlestick after its large move, the stock also has moved sideways. Then for all home, as you noticed it also formed its own support and resistance, but the large move just happened in the last 30 minutes of trading. So I want to know, what are your thoughts? Which do you think, based on these charts, are you buying more? Which stocks do you plan to pick up should it continue to go down? What do you like also? People always talk about KPP as a stock that moved from 5 all the way to 27, but what people don't talk about, it was also the stock that dropped from 27 to 10. So that's also a narrative where a lot of people also bought at relatively higher levels as well. So I'll keep you posted also on other stocks in the past that did an IPO, then after it went into an IPO, they started to zoom out. But just as a reference point, because please remember that not all stocks move the same. But what's amazing about technical analysis is that everything you need to know is found on what the charts are telling you, that you can win, that you can trade if you know how to read the charts properly, that you can win, that you can trade with confidence if you know how to be able to get specific buy and sell areas for the stock. So did you guys enjoy the video? I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope this gave you the right insights on how you can trade the markets with confidence, because it can be done. You can trade the markets, you can win, you can use technical analysis on how you can analyze it. So we have 4 more IPOs. Calcomp is coming up, Frutas is coming up, the MPI Hospital IPO is coming up, ACE Hospital in Tacloban is also coming up. I'm gonna make videos about them, but does this also give you an understanding that not all IPOs are the same, that you need to understand the framework of how those IPOs are built and what should be your battle plan? Are you just trading it after the stocks get released into the market, or are you investing for the long term? Do you know the company that you are buying as well? Or are you the person that will wait for charts to start to emerge, start to surface, and start to come out to give you the narrative of how you can actually win and trade the markets as well? And I'll just keep you updated on how this will go over the next few days. I'll keep you updated on how KPPI will fare, Axelum will fare, and All Home will fare as well, so that you get to see what happens over the next few days, and so you also get guidance and insights on what's happening in the markets, because we all know that heart and the goal of this channel is just to give you the right information so you can trade the markets with confidence. So that's it for now. I'm flying to Malaysia tomorrow. I hope for you guys attending the events there. I hope to see you there, and I hope you learn a lot also from what we're gonna talk about. So this is Marvin Dermo from Alabang. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.